Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have some Noble Knight action. It's kind of Infernoble, kind of normal Noble Knight, but it is super consistent. Well, not super consistent, but it is relatively consistent, not as consistent as regular Noble Knights, Infernobles I mean, but it is still very credible. So we're gonna start off with our normal summon Noble Knight mid-draught. What it says, while it's unequipped by anything, it's treated as a normal monster, and while it's equipped with Noble Arms card, it has the ability where you can once per turn summon any Noble Knight monster from your deck. Then you have to destroy one of your Noble Arms cards. So we're gonna be summoning Noble Knight boards and destroying this Noble Arms card. And what all the Noble Arms cards do, when they're destroyed, you can re-equip them to anything you want. So I'm gonna be re-equipping it to the boars I've just summoned. Boars says you can pick any 3 Noble Arms cards, add one of them to your hand, and shuffle the rest back. So kind of like a Power Tool Dragon, I'd say. But we're going to be searching a Noble Arms Durandal. So now we're going to use the Olivier in our hand. We just need the extender really. So we're just summoning it. Warrior extenders are relatively important in this deck. So we're going to use those to go into a soul. A soul will trigger. We will get the search for a Dragonox. This is pretty important, searching the Dragonox specifically. Next we can go ahead and use a Silt, milling 4. Yes, we are going to do some little, what do you call it, some Infernoble tactics, summoning an Olivier. And next we can go ahead, equip any card we want with Durandal. And now what will happen, we can go ahead and use our Durandal's effect, which will search a copy of Renaud. Now if you notice, paid attention to the cards we milled off his hold. We milled Phoenix Blade, Excalibur, Arfudither, and Living Fossil. Living Fossil has to be one of those cards because you're going to be summoning Renaud and using Renaud's effect to bring back the Living Fossil you just milled. So now we can go into a copy of everybody's favorite card, Linkross, and later we'll even go into a Needle Fiber. These cards should have really been hit on ban list. Like, what are they going to do now? Ban every single tuner in the game? I'm still really salty that Dragon Link went unharmed for the ban list. So we're going to make We're going to make a very peculiar target. I mean, Red Rose Dragon. Yep, we're playing this here too. So the reason I'm playing Red Rose Dragon specifically is because now we can go into a copy of Captain Roland. And what Red Rose Dragon does, I think we are going to be chain blocking our Red Rose Dragon right here. You can put the chain however you like, because if your opponent hasn't hand trapped you until this point, they probably don't have any hand traps at all. So Red Rose Dragon can summon a level 4 for free, and since we have level 5 tuner and level 4, we can go into a level 9 synchro Noble Knight Emperor Charles. So that's basically a free way to go into Charles. Now we're going to use the Living Fossil we got earlier in order to revive any level 4 of choice. It doesn't matter too much what the level 4 is, honestly. But I guess Olivier is a decent one. So now we're going to go overlay into Raid Raptor Force Tricks. Yep, we're going through every single archetype today. And now we're going to go ahead and use our Force Tricks, detaching the Oliver, and we'll get the search for Raid Raptor Singing Lanius. Now, no, we are not going to do some Raid Raptor shenanigans. We are just going to be summoning Singing Lanius and linking it off into a copy of Simorgh, Bird of Sovereignty. We're not going to do anything apart from that. We're not going to be going into White Strix or anything. Next we can link our Renaud into Linkuriboh, and this, since we have 2 darks on the field, since they are both of the same attribute, we can go into a Union Carrier. Right here this should look pretty similar. We're going to go ahead and use Union Carrier's effect, targeting the Simorgh, Bird of Sovereignty, and now we can equip Thunderbird from the deck. We're going to also scale our copy of Dragonox, the Empowered Warrior. And then we will also be equipping the Noble Arms of Destiny just to provide some extra protection to our Charles. This is not necessary, of course, but we drew decent, so we might as well do it. Now during the end phase, we can go ahead, use the effect of Simorgh, Bird of Sovereignty, which will be summoning a Mist Valley Apex Avion, which I unfortunately hard drew. Now we can go ahead, resolve the effect of our Roland, getting rid of the smoke grenade in order to search a copy of anything. I like to search Renaud because it does act as a follow-up recurring cards, and we can finally use Emperor Charles in order to equip the smoke grenade from the graveyard and an Oliver from the deck, and then we'll be using its second effect to pop the smoke grenade. The reason why I didn't just equip Oliver in my main phase using its graveyard effect is because then I would not have enough spell trap zones for my Simorg's effect to resolve. So we're going to go ahead and see what we're up against. We are up against BA, it seems. What would be a good card to get rid of? Getting rid of Absolute King Blackjack literally does nothing. I really want to just get rid of the trap trick because it can maybe prove to be troublesome. So how do you deal with this? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Infinite negations, yeah. Yeah, I just came up with this maybe yesterday, and I've been trying to tweak the deck out. I've reduced as many bricks as possible. There are very little bricks. He's a respectable person. He's saying, "Can I surrender?" If you want, man. Very respectable person. Very nice. Oof, I didn't have always chain on, so I couldn't really resolve my Roland, unfortunately. But it's okay, I guess. We're just gonna be equipping anything we want, really. I'll just equip Arfu Ditter here, because I should have activated my Roland in earlier, and now we're also going to be activating our little Charles here. I'm going to be destroying one of his traps because I really don't want those traps to resolve. Fiend Griefing, it's a decent attack. So now we can go ahead and use Arfu Ditter, which can go ahead destroy another one of his set cards, which is very nice. He's going to try and use Lost Wind. Does he? Okay, I'll chain my Apex Avian. I don't remember. I remember only seeing 4 traps in his hand. Yeah, he doesn't have too many other traps. He had Get Out. I don't know what that card does. But I guess it's okay. So he surrenders, very respectable person. That set card was probably a blackjack. As you see, I also had the ability to go ahead activate my Roland in the graveyard. It's a pretty consistent combo. You have tons of ways to get to your extenders, your starters. You usually want to get your Noble Knight Madrot, but there are tons of different ways to get to your combo, which I will explain later. Very flexible, and it can adapt pretty well. The only real downside is that if you brick hard, which doesn't happen too often, but if you do brick, then your best play is actually hand looping for 2, which isn't even that bad, honestly. And also having a drident in the form of Charles. So even if you do brick, you still have a fairly decent chance of winning. So I really like the deck a lot. It's pretty fun, and respectable man. Hope you have a good I hope you have a good time for the rest of your life. So I guess we'll go to the deck profile now. So right here we have the deck. It's a pretty nice deck. As you can see, we have a bunch of normal Noble Knights, not Infer Nobles here. We have some Infer Nobles too. We have tons of ways to search. Heritage Chalice Rhoda. Glory of the Noble Knights is important when you're using Boars or Madrot because they gain effects if they have noble arms equipped to them. But I guess I'll go over the deck card by card. First off, we have our first brick, quote unquote, Mist Valley Apex Avian. I did bump it up to 41 cards because I did want to kind of reduce the chance of drawing a brick, but it also does reduce the chance of drawing our main card, Madrot, but it's fine because we do run 7 copies of it, and we don't even necessarily have to draw Madrot to do full combo, which is absolutely insane. So Mist Valley Apex Avian, this is what you need for your Infinite Negations. 3 copies of Noble Knight Gawain. This is a searchable extender. You can search it off Rhoda or your Heritage of Chalice, where it says if you control a light normal monster, you can summon it. Now if you're wondering, light normal monster, how are you getting that? As I said, if you read the first lines of Noble Knight Madrot and Noble Knight Boars, it says if this card is treated as a normal monster while face up on the field. So you can always usually summon Gawain. If your opponent Nibiru's you of some sort, that is also the token you get is also a light normal monster, which is kind of funny. So you can summon Gawain there too. And you can also summon Gawain if you have Link Cross tokens. link cross tokens, which is also a really neat interaction. So 3 Gawain, because if you almost always summon it because you're going into link cross most of the time. 3 copies of your Noble Knight Midrot. This is your main starter. What it says has the normal monster effect that I discussed, and then while it's equipped with a Noble Arm spell card, it gains the effect that once per turn, if you control no other monsters, you can summon 1 Noble Knight monster from your deck in defense position. A lot of people like to play Unexpected Die in this deck, but this is the main reason why I don't, because it does require you to control no other monsters, so there's kind of conflict over there, and it can summon any Noble Knight, then destroying in an equipped spell you control, and since all the Noble Arms cards float when they're destroyed, you pretty much always just get a little boost there. So 3 Midrot for sure. 3 copies of Noble Knight Boars. Boars is definitely a necessity because it's your main way to search for Noble Arms Durendal, which will search Renaud later, and Renaud recovers Fossil Dig, and that's how you kind of combo off. You don't necessarily need Midrot in the first place to get to Boars. If you have enough extenders like Oliver, Custenin, and Gawain, you can easily just go off from there too. 1 copy of Dragonox the Empowered Warrior. This is mainly to stop your Thunderbird from just straight up being attacked over by battle, because that's a kind of a big issue, but yeah, it's pretty. Dragonox is kind of important. You're usually going to be searching it off Isolde and setting in scale, which basically says you can just stop an opponent's battle phase for free. So that's nice. 1 copy